Steve and I travel a lot, me especially, and when I do travel, one thing that I always make sure to bring, board games. And what game do I bring the most when I travel? Birds of a Feather. In Birds of a Feather, you and your fellow players, opponents, are all bird watchers, watching birds in their natural habitats. It's a card game that I usually describe to people as sort of trick-taking, but sandboxy trick-taking, and a lot more fun than trick-taking. It's also a lot more fun than just watching birds, in my opinion, but now I actually want to go out and watch real birds, not just airplanes. That's not my plane. In Birds of a Feather, you deal out the deck to players, and not all cards will be used unless you're playing with too many players. But anyway, you deal out the cards, and on the cards there are birds, and there are birds of certain habitats. If you think of the habitats sort of like suits, you'll kind of see where it's a trick-taking game. But don't worry about it. There are common birds and uncommon birds and rare birds in each suit. And what's going to happen is everybody will take one card and they'll play them simultaneously face down. And then, once everybody has played a card, you will flip the cards and you will go to that habitat to watch birds. And you will see the bird that you played, and you have a little scorecard that you mark, and there is an app. There's a good app. So you mark that you saw that bird. And any other birds in the habitat that you played that have also been played, you see those as well. So if you've accidentally coordinated with your opponents, you might end up seeing more birds than you originally intended, which is awesome. That's not my plane either. Okay, so that's the first round of play. Then you take the cards that were played, you move them into the middle of the table, make sure that they can all see, and you can see kind of which player played which card, and then you play another round. So another round very similar, you take a card from your hand, everybody simultaneously puts it face down, and then everybody simultaneously reveals. And this is the aha got you of this game. Every card that you played this round, the card that you played this round, that habitat is the habitat you go to. However, you also see any birds that are in that habitat from the previous round. So if you played the wetlands this round, you will see any birds in the wetlands out the outer ring, and you will see any birds in the wetlands of the inner ring. Once everybody has scored for that round, then go ahead and discard the innermost round, slide your new cards in, and that's now the inner circle. That's not my plane. And those aren't my kids. So that's the family normal variant of Birds of a Feather, basically. You just, every round, play a card face down, everybody flips, you see what birds you see in the wildlife on the outer ring and the inner ring, and then you discard the ones in the inner ring, they all fly off, and then you slide in the outer ring into the inner ring, and you just keep going until at the end of the round, you'll have one card left. You will not play the single card you have left, I believe. So there you go. That's the core game. And right there, you might already be like, wow, that sounds very interesting. Also, that's not my plane. You are building, you're trying to not complete a scorecard, but you're trying to get the most points. The rarity of the bird determines the score. It's the little star icon. Certain birds there are only one of per habitat, so if you want to see them, you really need to make sure that you get in on that inner ring, which is how you can kind of almost lead a trick. Like if you put out a super rare bird, you can lure other birds and other people to come to the habitat so that you can get more birds to fill out your card. Because there is a bonus. If you fill out all the birds of a habitat, you get a 3-point bonus, giving you 10 points for that habitat, which is muy bueno. There are a few variants in the game that you can play. There's the Predator variant that I like. Whenever anybody plays the Predator card, all the birds of the habitat of that predator fly away, so they don't see them. So you can lure people to play super rare stuff that maybe you've already seen or maybe you don't want people to see, and then you can totally play the predator and so they get chased off, and then they don't get points, and you're just that person, and it's more fun. The art in Birds of a Feather is done by Teal's brother, who is actually a bird watcher, and so it is very detailed, it's very good. It actually really does make me want to kind of go look at birds. But all in all, Birds of a Feather is super simple to teach. I've already taught you the main family version, and it's really enjoyable. You can play several games really quickly, you can play it while talking. People get into it and they like it a lot more than they think. It's very clean, it's very well thought out, and it has a surprisingly large amount of interaction for something that is simple as just playing cards. The mechanic of playing one round of birds, moving them into the center, and then still being able to see them if you go to that wildlife, it's my most favorite mechanic of this game. It's just so simple, and I don't know if other games do it, but I just really like it. And it's like the aha moment of this game, which makes it a lot more interesting than just a normal trick-taking game, I feel. But do you see what I mean by it kind of feels like a trick-taking game? Sort of? I don't know. That's my opinion. You can find Birds of a Feather at your friendly local game store, or you can buy it direct from TL Online on Amazon. Link down below in the doobly-doo. If you have played Birds of a Feather and you like it, go ahead and tell me why down below. Maybe I missed something. If you've played any of the variants that you think might be good, let me know down below. And otherwise, you know, if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, feel free to subscribe. And what other trick-taking games have you played lately? Also, my plane's not going to be here for like another 4 hours, but that's my Steve right there. He's working. Yeah, it's boring. So I'm doing this.